see any remarkable difference between the Nnamdi Kanu of the old and the Nnamdi Kanu of 21st October. The only thing I discerned, I could see, was that he has lost a lot of weight. I think everybody noticed that. So I do believe that the loss of weight has a whole lot to do with the conditions of his detention in Nigeria, which is very restrictive and uncomfortable and very degrading. And I think also it's indicative of what he passed through in Kenya when he was renditioned there in late June 2021.
So apart from the weight loss, nothing again what you see?
Before his rendition, Nnamdi Kanu was receiving treatment for a heart condition called heart murmur. And, of course, he has an extreme form of hypertension. His medical report is a matter for public consumption through the facility of the processes we filed in that regard. He was receiving treatment in Texas, United States, back in February this year for that. And when he entered Kenya sometime in May, he also made contact with a hospital in Kenya to treat these conditions. And these conditions persist. And our thesis, our position is that the DSA's facility is, a poster exemplar of what detention facilities in Nigeria are like in terms of inadequacy of medical facilities. I don't believe that DSS facility has the competence or the medical competence to take care of his medical condition, which we consider life-threatening.
Okay, and now we don't finish for the appearance. Many Nigerians want to know what happened inside the court during the trial. Even doctor people, journalists, were supposed to bring out information, they don't allow some of them enter inside the court. So you think tell us what happened for inside the courtroom before and after Nnamdi Kanu pleaded not guilty? What happened
was that, it took a little while before they brought him inside. So when they brought him inside, it wasn't in chains. If you recall, on 29 June 2021, when they presented him subsequent to the rendition, he was in chains. He was in manacles, and that's unconstitutional. You shouldn't be doing that to suspects. Nigerian Constitution says you shouldn't. The Supreme Court of Nigeria said you shouldn't. So they, anyway, on 21st October, they didn't. So he wasn't in manacles. He wasn't in handcuffs. So he walked freely inside the confines of the courtroom, and he received salutations from his counsel and gathered other people who were in the court, and we had opportunity to have photo opportunities with him. We snapped pictures with him, and it was a more relaxed atmosphere from what it was the last time he wasn't presented in court. It wasn't raucous, it wasn't noisy, and only few people were, of course, allowed inside the courtroom, and I believe that had more to do with the COVID protocols. Of course, the prosecution made a presentment of the amended charges. If you recall, they had amended these charges a few days to the hearing, and again they did another amendment which I considered more of sua sponte on the spot, and of course there was no opportunity that the defense has. I don't think we were given sufficient opportunity to go home and study these charges to see how our client would respond to them. But again, the judge wanted a plea to be taken, and that's exactly what happened. So a plea was taken, and I don't think that has prejudiced the challenges, the constitutional challenges we have to these charges, which will come up on the 10th of November. Okay,
on Friday, the Attorney General of the Federation, the Minister of Defense, to Abubakar Malami, he hold press conference on Friday, and me too, have been there here. He read plenty things where Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB do. Some of the things we talk, he say, in some accused for Nnamdi Kanu, saying instigate violent attacks for democratic institutions like correctional centers, police stations, INEC offices, and others between October 2020 and June 2021. As Malami talked this thing on Friday, you don't tell your client, Nnamdi Kanu, about this latest development.
You have asked me this question now about the press conference that was done by the Attorney General on Friday. It's quite surprising that a day after these hearings, I think it was a day after or 2 days after, the Attorney General saw the occasion to address a press conference, that is diametrically removed from what happened in court. You see, Attorney General should be reminded that, despite his duality of role under Nigerian Constitution, he's also the Attorney General of everybody. His job is not regime protection. His job is to uphold the law and see that justice is done to every Nigerian citizen, and even foreigners who happen to find themselves in Nigeria. What he appears to be saying on Friday is akin to saying that the witch cried at night and the baby died in the morning. Therefore, the witch killed the baby. You see, he read off all these allegations without substance. He never presented any evidence. And we have this particular one concerning the NSAS protest. We had commissions of inquiry across the country, particularly in Lagos, and I think they had one in Imo State as well that I know personally about, and there was nothing from any of these commissions of inquiry that returned an indictment of Nnamdi Kanu or IPOB in the aftermaths of the NSAS protest. So that accusation was made in bad faith, and it's intended to poison the minds of the public and also to prejudice the mind of the court as well. It's a highly prejudicial interview, and we are studying the contents to see whether there is going to be any legal reactions that should come from our side.
Okay, we never finished with the accusation where Malami knocked for Nnamdi Kanu death. He also thought, say, on 21st October 2020, your client do online calling radio program for when you use Radio Biafra to instigate IPOB members and NSAS.
Wait, listen, I understand the question. You see, this matter is sub judice.
I want to break it down.
No, I can't allow us to go into an excursion of what is before a competent court of law in Nigeria. If the Attorney General doesn't want to keep the rules of sub judice, this is a matter before the court. If he has any evidence that our client was caught up in any wrongdoing or criminality, he should know better than anybody else that the proper forum for presentation of that evidence is a court of law, not calling press conferences. So if the Attorney General is preempting the Nigerian judiciary, if the Attorney General is disrespecting the Federal High Court, I will not play that game and stay here and disrespect the Federal High Court. I will wait for him to come before the court with any evidence that he claims to possess, so we can meet him in court toe to toe. If there was any radio program, a respected medium like BBC could have been aware of it more than my humble self. So if the Attorney General monitored any radio program, I think there was something about a radio program that was monitored in Enugu, not in Abuja. And you begin to wonder, what is Nnamdi Kanu doing facing a Federal High Court in Abuja? He should be facing a Federal High Court in Enugu. So there are just so many issues here bordering on prosecutorial misconducts of the extreme degree, and these things will be ventilated better within the confines of where we have the privilege of ventilating these things, which is the courtroom. I should not be seen to be subjecting or succumbing to these antics by the Attorney General of subjecting Nnamdi Kanu to a media trial. You said the press conference was on Friday. Today is Saturday. So I'm telling you, we are studying the contents of the press conference to see whether it is necessary for us as lawyers to join issues with him in the media or to wait for him in open court. Well, that brings me to the constitutional action that I brought on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu before the High Court of Abia State. That action, as you all know, is called Fundamental Rights Action. And same Attorney General has filed an application before the High Court of Abia State requesting for extension of time to respond. So why did he now turn around, instead of responding to the suit that I filed in Abia State, or filing whatever he has before the High Court in Abuja? Now he turns around to come before the media to be spewing out all these accusations that lack substance and material evidence. So that is the question. The question, again, I'll repeat, is if the Attorney General has something that he believes to be cogent and material, he has a forum where he should present those things, and that forum is not before the Nigerian public, but before the courts of the land, which are now considering the various processes that are ongoing before them.
You were responding to the accusation by the Attorney General of the Federation, where he talks, say, Nnamdi Kanu provoke IPOB members and the ESM members to carry out the killings of APC chieftain Ahmed Bola and the husband to late Gigi of Nnamdi, daughter Akunyili, Mr. Chike Akunyili, say now him now instigates IPOB and ESM members to carry out those things. How you go react? Well,
regarding these accusations by the Attorney General that Nnamdi Kanu instigated certain killings, including that of Dr. Akunyili and the APC chieftain and the others, the unrest that we have in Anambra State at this point in time. That's what I think it's referring to. I am here to tell you that we have charges in open court. The Attorney General have filed charges that don't contain these allegations. So I think the best place to address these allegations, or if he has any evidence, is the courtroom before the Federal High Court. Coming to the Nigerian public to begin to adduce new allegations that are different from what is before the court, I think is improper.
Now maybe talk about within concerning this and the Anambra elections. The elections will happen November 6th. So what do you think about the democratic dispensation of your clients as it relates to the November 6th election for Anambra State?
Well, you see, there are more important issues in Nigeria than elections. Elections can come and go, but those issues will remain. The issues are clear, that a lot of people who are Nigerians are no longer happy being Nigerians. It doesn't make them unpatriotic. It doesn't make them criminal. One of the ways citizens express their unhappiness with the system or with how their country is going is by engaging in agitations. And my clients happen to be engaged in agitation. And that agitation is informed by their right to self-determination, which is not a crime. I don't think criminalizing the demand of a people, of millions of people. You see, this is beyond IPOB. The restiveness in this country is also rampant in the western part of the country. And parts of the north are also restive. I'm not talking about the terrorists in the north, but civil restiveness. So it indicates an overall unhappiness that is coming from vast majority of Nigerians with the way things are, with the way the system is structured. And that is something that does not deserve a bullet.
They know that Nnamdi Kanu's trial cannot go anywhere. And they know that if it is concluded, it is a problem. If it is not concluded, it is a problem. So they make it an open-ended trial so that they will look as if something is happening. But they're not interested in his trial. They are interested in holding him perpetually until people realize that that's what they're doing. And I realized that a long time ago. The problem is that everybody has become complacent about Nnamdi Kanu's freedom. They have allowed the so-called Southeastern leaders who are deceiving them to say, oh, we are negotiating, we will get this thing resolved, to allow them to calm down the restless people who should get him out. You are not going to get Nnamdi Kanu out of detention by negotiation. It's not possible. Nigeria is holding Nnamdi Kanu to ransom for his unity. The payment they are demanding for is absolute unity and loyalty, regardless of what they are doing to Igbos, yes, or they are doing to other Nigerians. Unless that ransom is paid, and that ransom is Nnamdi, or Nnamdi is rescued from the kidnappers. I think I want to say this, because Nnamdi Kanu is my friend, and I've been in this court several times on his behalf. In fact, when I would come to this court in the past, they would attack me physically. I was attacked physically thrice. The reason I don't come to court anymore is that a federal high court judge actually gave an order that I cannot attend this trial, this current trial. Yes, he mentioned my name specifically, so I don't want to waste my time coming to court. But will be more. I think the problem is that everybody has become complacent about Nnamdi Kanu's freedom. They have allowed the so-called Southeastern leaders who are deceiving them to say, "Oh, we are negotiating, we will get this thing resolved," to allow them to calm down the restless people who should get him out. You are not getting, this is what I should tell you, you are not going to get Nnamdi Kanu out of detention by negotiation. It's not possible. Nigeria is holding Nnamdi Kanu to ransom for his unity. The payment they are demanding for is absolute unity and loyalty, regardless of what they are doing to Igbos, yes, or they are doing to other Nigerians. Unless that ransom is paid, and that ransom is Nnamdi, or Nnamdi is rescued from the kidnappers. Look, all these razzmatazz we are seeing in Nigeria in the courts, Nnamdi Kanu's trial has nothing to do with judges. If the Supreme Court justices decide that Nnamdi Kanu should be freed, he will not be freed.
Yes.
The DSS will not leave him.
True.
Because that has happened several times. It's not matter for what they come to do in the courtroom is scripted drama, so that they will give an impression that, you know, they know that Nnamdi Kanu's trial cannot go anywhere, and they know that if it is concluded, it is a problem. If it is not concluded, it is a problem. So they make it an open-ended trial, so that they will look as if something is happening. But they are not interested in his trial. They are interested in holding him perpetually until people realize that that's what they are doing. And I realized that a long time ago. In fact, when I met Nnamdi Kanu, I used to say, I met him in New York when I was on my way to Nigeria in 2019. At the time I got arrested for revolution now. And he was telling me, I told this story several times, he said, "Shore, you are mad. How are you going to Nigeria at this time? They just tried to kill me in my father's house. And they killed 20-something people. I barely escaped." I said to him, and it came to pass, if they need you and they want you, wherever you are hiding, they'll come and get you. And that's what they did to him by going to Kenya. They abducted him. Till today, nobody can tell you how Nnamdi Kanu got to Nigeria officially. It was an international kidnap action. And you cannot cure that flaw in his trial. You can't go and kidnap somebody and bring him to court and bring him to trial. But they know what they are doing. So I hope that those who are his supporters and Nigerians who believe in justice will understand that is what he's about. He is a prisoner, not, you can say prisoner of conscience, of course he is, but he's a prisoner to the Nigerian project. The desire to keep Nigeria one, united, undividable. That is his crime. And those kind of crimes are not for trial. You can't get a court of law to convict him for that, because it's not a crime.
Of course.
And that's why we tell people all the time. If you see all this razzmatazz going on, the judge from day one already know that I didn't commit a crime. In this case that we came to today, Justice Liman knew that there was no crime committed by calling the IGP illegal, because it's illegal. Yes. The issue to be resolved is very simple. You cannot lead the police if you are not in the police force. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, I'm qualified to be IG then. Yes, throw it open. Let anybody apply for it. Then you can make MC Oluomo the IGP of police. We won't complain. You understand? It is just like saying, look, judges are entitled to spend how many years now? 70 years as judges. We don't have a problem with that because that has been done. But if you go and bring a retired judge to come out, I won't. If I'm brought before him, I won't answer to him, because I say, sir, you are no longer a judge. You have retired from the civil service. So that is the issue they cannot cure. So the judge who accepted that knew that there was no case against me, but they are interested in one thing and one thing only: my international passport. I had achieved that for them. After that, come today, come tomorrow. Why they figure out other things to do to Shore. So that's what it's all about. Yes.
The chairman is saying that the perception that they are not interested in prosecuting high profile cases is false, and that the agency is committed to that. He made that remark in the trial.
The EFCC chairman knows that it is time to replace the eagle in the EFCC with a dove.
Or a chicken.
No, a dove is harmless.
No, it's
yes. Chicken can be aggressive sometimes. Yes. No, if you go to the chicken and try to mess with the chicken, they will fight. But the dove doesn't fight. They should just replace the logo of EFCC with a dove. Let everybody move on. That's a simple thing. The EFCC no longer handle high-profile cases. They can't. The high-profile people have already captured the EFCC. So the EFCC is incapable of handling any this same chairman of EFCC told us that if what's it called, Bello was not arrested, he will resign. Bello was never arrested. Bello decided after he has gone around and played and gone on vacation, came back to come and play, and he's back on the streets. Everybody's kneeling down for Bello, who is undergoing trial for. Bello is back on doing his third term in Kogi State. So what are we talking about? So, but EFCC chairman must give speech. The media must report it. That's what you guys are supposed to do. But my advice once again is that the eagle must be replaced with a dove, and we all move on.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
We have so many unresolved cases in Nigeria as we speak today.
Yes.
You have raised a lot of issues as to the problems.
Yeah.
What do you think is the way out of this problem? Because we have several issues. We have Sabu Dasuki, for example, that lasted over 10 years.